Hey guys, welcome back to Callous Crew Challenge. As per usual, as with most tours, many matches were put off until the weekend. We have a slew of Saturday, Sunday highlights for you, and we're going to start with a compilation of all the Fairy Gen stuff that I will not be properly narrating and don't know how to narrate, but I still want to bring you the highlights, and like I said, if you really want to see these games, the best way to do it is to get in the Discord server, link in the description. All the replays will be there, and you can watch these to your heart's content at your own pace. So, starting with this one, it is a Loden against Malekith. This is a potential elimination match. A Loden representing team Let's in the Sun alongside Lax and Tony Flygon. Malekith representing team Mom, M-O-M, alongside Ox the Fox and M-Dragon. Speaking of Ox the Fox, he was defeated by Lax in their set, which was Gen 7. You guys should have already seen that on the channel. Therefore, Malekith must win here to give M-Dragon a chance to defeat Tony Flygon. Should Loden win this set, Team Mom is out before M-Dragon even gets a chance to play. So, gonna go ahead and throw this on hyper fast because I'm not gonna actually narrate it. Here's an Oros game between Loden and Malekith. Of note in this particular series, they, in all games, opted for quite similar teams. This one, I believe, went pretty long. They are stallier teams here. They're not full, utter stall. I mean, at least there's a Scizor, and at least there's... Malekith is pretty damn stally. Gliscor could potentially have some amount of offense. But yeah, these are two really stally squads that they've opted for. And like I said, it is Malekith fighting for his team's tournament life, whereas Loden can go ahead and put his guys through to the next round with a win. Kind of weird tiers for these guys. Loden, I have no idea. When I think of both of these guys, Loden and Malekith, they're both people who I just associate with. They can play anything. You can just kind of throw them in anything. They'll be competent. They're just overall good Pokemon players who can do whatever. I don't know that this is a main tier or even like a top 2 or 3 tier for either guy, but I'm confident that they both know it well enough because, like I said, I think these guys can legit play all of 1 through 8 to various levels, at least to a competent level, and they're just overall really good pilots. And that's pretty much my narration. Ran out of Oros things to say. Now, like I said, I think this one goes pretty long, as it's kind of always going to with stall and stall. One opting for Chansey, one opting for Blissey. It's obviously not a mistake. Just holding Evo Light or EVO Light or whatever the hell the thing's called. It's interesting, though, that there's not a... Someone's going to have to explain that to me, someone who knows Oros better than I do. I mean, you would think that the calcs have been done, right? And that one is just better than the other. Which one's the better wall? Chansey with Evo Light or Blissey just being Blissey with leftovers or whatever? I mean, I guess the drawback, right? I assume the trade-off would be that even if Chansey's a better wall, as in it takes hits better, the trade-off is you don't get lefties, right? Interesting. I'm surprised there's not an established consensus, though, of just, this is better. Chansey with Evo Light or Blissey without it. You would think that one of them has been mathed out to be superior, and that would just be the basically universal option on these kind of teams. But I'm probably being an idiot and embarrassing myself. I don't know this tier. I don't pretend to know this tier. I really do enjoy watching it, though. High-level Oros. I mean, this is probably not the finest example with two very stally teams, but yeah, generally speaking, like I like watching SPL Oros or some of the really top guys do their thing. Scizor going down, as you may have noticed in this replay, obviously is going to be difficult. It leaves Loden with a lot of do nothing. I mean, he could play a really long game, try to status stuff out, try to PP stall stuff out, but Malekith's team, also being a stall team, is obviously pretty resilient and going to be pretty hard to just like slowly take down with poison or burns or whatever it may be. So the Scizor going down without actually really doing anything, not that it was ever going to do too much in this matchup. Pretty bad Scizor matchup given the zone and the the Scarm and just the full, the Gliscor, everything on the other side. But yeah, the Scizor going down makes it pretty difficult for a Loden to actually win this game. He can not lose for a long time, but not losing is not the same as winning. As far as actual win conditions, how does he ever kill anything? How does he ever make forward progress in this game? That's less clear to me. Going through the motions, as we do in tournament games, especially when you're fighting for your teammates, you don't want to just concede, but it feels like Malekith is eventually going to win this, and it's felt that way for a while. Even just like looking in right now at the status of the team, I mean, Zone's low, sure, because of Scizor, but everything else, Slowbro full, Gliscor basically full, Scarm really healthy, and it is Roost, Amoonguss healthy, Blissey healthy, and it is soft-boiled. Nothing's even like really super close to going down or super threatened. You could lose the zone, I guess, if you're Malekith, but like even then, it just, who cares? It already did its job. It's not that important anymore. Zapdos going down also speeds this up. Man, I'm glad I didn't even attempt to narrate this. I wouldn't have. I don't have 130 turns of Oros thoughts in my full brain. Never mind about this game. Lengthy one, but like I said, it feels like the second the Scizor went down, not that it was ever too exciting in this matchup. It felt like as of that moment, Malekith had the inevitability on his side. It just felt like a matchup. It feels like a matchup as a whole that it's hard for Malekith to lose. Stall on stall, it's kind of exactly what Malekith would like to face with this because he can just never, his shit will just never die. And yeah, and he's got the answer for the Scizor on the other side. Just feels like a really good Malekith matchup. Malekith's team probably more threatened by things that could potentially set up and kill him, like Volcarona, or things that could just get there. But there's no such pressure on a Loden's team. And slowly but surely, and man, this is even longer than I remember it being. I think in real time, this game, I was at work at the time. I didn't get to sit and watch it. Not that I would have wanted to watch with the speed that this actually took, but I think in real time, this game took like 45 minutes or something obscene. Maybe it just feels that way because when I'm at work, every minute feels like an hour and I want to go home. But it felt like this game took quite some time in real time when I was watching it. But anyhow, eventually, 151 turns later, Malekith takes game one, and like I said, if he wins, it just forces a third set between Tony and M-Dragon. That would be an RBY set if it happens. Whereas if Loden were to come back and win, which he's obviously capable of doing, he would simply send his team through to the next round and eliminate Malekith's team, which is Mom alongside Ox and M-Dragon. Loden, like I said, as a reminder, is playing with Tony Flygon and with Lax. So again, like I had mentioned before, they actually opted for similar teams in all the games in this set, and the pattern continues here in Game 2. There's a lot of similarities here. You see Zap, Clef, Drill on both sides, and just over and low Punny. So 4 Mons, literally exactly the same, and then, yeah, the other two, not that much difference. Same concept here. This one a little bit closer. Loden has a bit more offense this time, so he's not going to make the same mistake twice. He's not going to walk into a matchup where you just can't kill stuff. We see Excadrill against Clef here. Rapid Spin gets off. Rocks come down again as a full power comes down, but yeah, there's another Rapid Spin. You need 2 full power in a row based on the way that's playing to keep Rocks down, which is obviously easier said than done. So Clef, despite Calm Mind boost, gets out of the way. Discharge Para's there, doesn't care. 50% Moonblast, full para as Exca comes in. EQ full para again. Another EQ. So that leaves Loden's Drill, or not Drill, Clef rather, pretty low, 23% and paralyzed. Everything else doing okay at the moment, except for the Excadrill that just died to Flamethrower. Revenge Kill Frustration from the low Punny. And we end up Zap on Zap. This one, though I don't think it was a quick game, my memory says was not 151 turns like the previous one. So that's good. That will move us along to either a new set or Game 3, depending on the outcome. Scald Burn there, annoying but not a huge deal. kind of inevitable in this kind of matchup. When you're going to give it a million chances, it's eventually going to get a burn. Heat Wave doing dick all to the Gastrodon. And that burn is relevant. That's a one-turn window to get that burn. Burn on Weavile blows. He obviously really relies on his attack stat. So that one mattered. Malekith now distinctly in the lead with a 5-4 advantage. And of course the burnt Weavile on the other side. Volcanion here maybe can do some damage, but it is a slow burn to try to do so against the Gastrodon that it just doesn't have a very good move to hit with. Not going to hit it with a water move, obviously, since it does, of course, get... Am I making shit up? I say it does, of course, get. Maybe it doesn't get. I thought it got water absorbed. I don't know anything. This is why I don't narrate Oras. But yeah, water's not going to do it, and these fire attacks are doing dick, and then... I mean, it's burnt, but burn's not as good in this gen as it is in future gen, or past gens. They nerfed it in some fairy gen, made it do not as much damage. Storm Eruption, 48%, because I know what fucking Storm Eruption does. Hopefully you guys do, because I don't. And then, yeah, little comeback for a Loden. The Lopunny doing some work. But remember, Zapdos burnt and Weavile burnt, so it's not as good as it looks on paper. It looks like a 3-3 and like a Loden's really making a comeback. And maybe he still will. Lopunny can really do some damage, but yeah, Loden's kind of running on fumes here. Everything's not in the best shape. Volcarona, the ever dangerous. There's Quiver Dance, Volt Switch, not that exciting. Fake Out, sure, but the inevitable seems to be here at this point. It's set up, it's behind a sub. What you gonna do? Fire Blast crit makes it so there's absolutely nothing to deal with here. Fake Out pops the sub, sure, but that allows a second Quiver Dance, and there's nothing you can do to prevent the follow-up Bug Buzz, which isn't very effective, but it's effective enough when you're at +2. That's the knockout, that's the game, that's the match. Malekith 2, Loden 0. That sends us to a fated duel that I will narrate, because it's RBY, between M-Dragon and Tony Flygon. At the time of this recording, that match hasn't happened yet, so we can look forward to it together, and winner of that match is going to send their team through, loser going to be out. Let's move along. Alright, this is TJ and Empo. This is the first match between Shady Mofos, that would be Sprinkler, Friend of Mr. Golem, and Empo, against the Mad Pat, which is TJ, XCal, and Altina. This is some Gen 8 action. Let's get right to it, since once again I don't know how to narrate this, so we're just going to watch the game. TJ Utamortis, which I guess maybe he's friends with EO, or he's making fun of EO. Some kind of reference to EO, who I don't think really plays anymore, but I hope is doing well with whatever non-Mons thing he's doing with his life. And then Empo, topside, very established as one of the best Gen 7 players ever. Some people think he's the best ever, but certainly knows his way around 6 and 8 as well. I think he dabbles a little bit in 5. I think before that is before his time for a young guy. But he's very, very established in Fairy Gens, and according to you guys in the chat, is a heavy favorite here. Not that the predictions are a be-all, end-all. There have been plenty of predictions already in this tour that have turned out to be wrong, but assuming that you guys know what you're talking about, most of you, very significant majority, think that Empo is going to take this down. And he's off to a good start. Got himself a nice little early lead here. TJ is really no slouch, though. He played SPL this past year. I think he did pretty well. He was also in SCL, and again, I think he did pretty well. He's a player that is quite respected and doing better and better with results recently. Really making a name for himself. Definitely think that TJ can play. And the TJ XCal Altina team, no joke, no slouch. Nevertheless, Empo pretty much with this one in the bag. TJ going to concede, and Empo's going to take game 1. What a team that is. Shady Mofos. Empo and Fomog, two absolute studs. The two guys that you pay 25 plus K for in SPL that are just the highlights of your team, that are going to hard carry. Man, those are damn good players. But then, yeah, on the flip side of that, you have Sprinkles as your third dude. No disrespect, he's just not anywhere near the caliber as the other two guys, and he's also banned. So I don't know, I'm not sure how Sprinkles managed to get Empo and Fomog as teammates, but good on him, because that is a power team that really could do some damage here. The Mad Pat, a more rounded team. I don't know that it has any blatant superstar the way that Fomog and Empo both are, but it's three really solid guys who are versatile and are going to be able to cover most tiers no matter what comes up. All that being said, we are in the second game. I switched for continuity, as I tend to do. This one going TJ's way. Empo pretty far behind here, 5-3. Well, make it 3-4. Oh, never mind. He's just going to win with Garchomp. This is why I don't narrate. I say he's far behind. 3 turns later, he wins. Apparently, TJ can't handle a fucking half-health Garchomp. Yeah, Weavile low would just die to rocks, and everything else would just die to Garchomp. Alright, well, TJ got smacked around, and it's going to be an Empo victory. So that is 1 on the board for Team Shady Mofos. It's going to be, in that match, it's going to be Fomog and Altina in Gen 3, which is interesting. Fomog not known as a Gen 3 player, obviously. And then it's going to be Sprinkles and Xcal in Black-White. Another one, does Sprinkles play Black-White? This is the one that everybody thought that Shady Mofos would win, and they were right. Empo did win. But the other two, on paper, seem like real uphill battles for that team. So we'll see. In the meantime, we have a completely different match. We have Sabella against Ante. This is also Sword and Shield content. Sabella representing Team The Rock Bottoms alongside Marco P and Georgie. And then Bruno, that's Ante, on Team Crack, one of the pre-tour favorites, alongside Mana, previously banned Manaphy, and Roro. We saw what some of you guys considered an upset in Marco P over Mana in the Gen 1 match that they had. And therefore, if Sabella, that's Booty, that's PVRI, whatever that is on the bottom, if he is to beat Ante here, then it's going to be a 2-0 victory for the Rock Bottoms over Team Crack, and that is what would largely be considered an upset by the community at large. Crack is one of the teams that almost everybody pre-tour thought is like one of the top 3 teams to beat, alongside TSA, who you're going to see a little bit later today. And the other team that people thought was really good is the Bucks, who you're also going to see more of today. There's also Mom, who, as you guys know, if you've been watching this video, are also in danger of elimination. They're going to a third set. And then there's PPT, who, hard to keep track. I don't think we've shown any games of them yet, but we're gonna. Anyhow, back to this one. Sabella, that is Booty, that is Pivris, or whatever the fuck that is on the bottom. Like I said, he is on the Rock Bottoms with Georgie and Marco, and if he loses, that's fine. They just go to a third set, which would be Georgie against Roro in Gen 3. Whereas if he were to win, that's going to be a big upset, 2-0 victory, knocking Crack out of the tournament before Roro even gets a chance to play. And looks like he's on the right path to do that, because it is going to be Sabella, Booty, my Tigers teammate from this past SPL. He's going to take game 1 over Ante. Wrong set for Volcarona. Just can't do anything. The Heatran, Flamethrower, Psychic, presumably Giga Drain or Sub is the last move. Not going to get the job done. Or Bug Buzz, but all those things walled by the OP Heatran. Sends us to a game 2. This is an elimination game, as would a game 3 be. Should Sabella defeat Ante in this game or a game 3, then huge upset and Team Crack eliminated 2-0 before Roro even gets a chance to play. Obviously, Ante, largely established as one of the best and most desirable players in the world, obviously is going to do everything that he can to prevent that from happening. Dude is good at any tier that he sets his mind to. SPL stud. Last time he played, picked up GSC for the first time and did really, really well. Widely respected player, also known for his funky, unconventional builds. He's someone who you never, ever can bet against. That being said, it is Sabella not only up a game, but up to a lead in this game as well. 6-5 advantage early on. That was a good Toxic on Zapdos. Yeah, Sabella in the zone. Weavile on Weavile, that's a good knockoff. Follow up with another knockoff. Just like that, 27 turns, one of the biggest upsets in the tournament. Not this match specifically, just the overall team v team. Almost nobody predicted that Crack would lose, and certainly that they would lose 2-0. McMagan gets the dubious honor, unfortunately, of being the first player to say, but I didn't even get a chance to play. McMagan's team is out of here before he even plays a game. A big upset, a 2-0 victory for the Rock Bottoms against pre-tournament favorite, or at least one of them, Crack. So yeah, that's that. Rock Bottoms to the next round, and Crack out of here. All right. More content. This one is one of the, on paper, and according to the predictions, one of the most lopsided of the first round. Both of these guys, Tigers last year, so these guys were my teammates. It is B, Gen 7 and 8 Monster against Tekklus, who I didn't even know played Gen 7. This one is expected to be a B down, and most people think B is going to fucking destroy Tekklus here. I haven't actually watched these games, but I'm not going to pretend that I'm not in the same camp. I'm going to assume B is going to bulldoze him over. But yeah, if Tekklus can impress me and have that not be the case, then that's chill. That being said, Zakaru on Team French, which is where Tekklus is, French plus Finch. So Finch, Tekklus, Zakaru. Zakaru defeated Astamatitos of the Bucks earlier on, as you guys may have seen in one of my previous highlight videos. So Tekklus here doesn't need to panic. If Tekklus is to win, which would be a massive upset, the biggest upset of the round, but if Tekklus were to win, then he would send his team through. French would eliminate the Bucks. Whereas if B were to win, which is the expected outcome here, if B were to win, it would come down to Finchinator and Posse G in a DPP match, which at the time of this recording is yet to be played, and that would determine the fate of the teams. So, let's see what happens. You know, Tekklus actually putting up a pretty good fight. For real. 4-4, he's in this game. God, maybe Posse and Finch aren't even going to have to play. Is that why they haven't played? Because Tekklus achieves victory? No, he concedes to Volcarona. Hold on. It's best of 3. We're not done. Tekklus bottom on Madison. And B, I think he actually changed his Smogon name to that, to BBEEAA. Kind of a dumb name, but here we are. Babi, not that his name wasn't dumb before. Beautiful. He doesn't speak English. It's not his fault. Tekklus with the early lead in this one. But that's undone by Mega Gyarados. Man, it really didn't look as bad as I thought. Tekklus was in these games for a little bit. I don't know the tier well enough to know if it was actually close or if it just looks close but wasn't really. But yeah, no, Tekklus was actually in these games. I mean, B is going to win because he's B. But not the absolute curb stomp, not the absolute beat you in 10 turns, not even close bullshit that some people thought it would be. I guess this one ended kind of not close. I think it's closer than it looked on paper, but a 5-0 is pretty bad. A lot of this stuff is kind of... yeah, maybe not. Most of it's pretty healthy. Alright, this one was kind of a beating. But I thought the Tekklus put up a fight. Alright, so that makes it official. Like I said, hasn't happened at the time of this recording, and I hadn't actually watched these games, so I wasn't sure. But it's going to be Posse G and Finchinator in DPP. Winner of that is going to take either Team French, which is Zoc and Tekklus, or the Bucks, which is Asta B and Posse G, through to the next round. And I believe I have one more set for you in this video prior to getting into things that I'm going to actually narrate properly and individually. The final set here is Heroic Troller and Punny playing Oros. Punny I know plays Oros. Heroic Troller and Oros? I guess I'm not surprised. I mean, he dabbles in a little bit of everything. We'll see. This is... What is the status of this series? It's the first one. Yeah, it's the first one. I think in real time that's not actually the case, unfortunately. But for purposes of YouTube, this is the first one. The other series, the other matches in this series are Fear versus Pogis that I know did happen, and actually Tricking versus Jirachi. Not sure if that one happened or not. But I know this isn't the first one, but for purposes of YouTube, we're going to call this one the first one. Here we go. Gonna be Troller on the bottom, and it's going to be Punny on the top, and just an immediate turn one trade, simple as that. Punny I know plays this tier and is pretty good at it. Troller, like I said, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's better than anybody would imagine at any other tier. I know that he dabbles into a little bit of everything. I've teamed with him before. I've seen him test DPP. I've seen him test ADV. I've seen him test Black-White. Wouldn't be surprised if he knew a little bit of Oros as well. But obviously when people think Heroic Troller, they think of him as RBY, as they should. He is largely considered the best RBY, not only in the world now, but just possibly ever. This game is a beating. Troller gets his ass kicked, so maybe I'm giving him too much Oros credit, or maybe this is a fluke. But this one is an absolute stomp. Just can't handle the stupid Kyurem at all. So let's move along to game 2. Troller on the bottom, like I said, representing Team Helix alongside Fear and Jirachi. And then there's Punny with PPT, which is simply Punny Pogis Tricking. Just a little abbreviation for their name. Same thing that Mum did with M-Dragon, Ox, and Malekith. Same thing that TSA did with TDK, Star, and ABR. You know, Pokemon players, for as creative as they are with their teams and their sets and all that stuff, not very creative with team names. This one, kind of a reverse of the previous. Troller looking pretty damn good in this one after getting his ass kicked in the first one. Yeah, another quickie. 20-turn concession. 20-turn Troller defeat. 20-turn Troller victory. This one moving along like Usain Bolt. Fast one. Game 3 for the set. Heroic Troller, Helix, Punny on whatever this is, Tosoro Mio, representing PPT for the set. I see a Shuckle. You guys are going to have to explain that one to me. If that mon is not a complete bullshit gimmick in any tier, it's news to me. Full para there sucks. Ooh, he gets a Bug Bite off through Iron Head and para. That's rather unlikely. That helps Troller quite a bit. I still don't know why I'm seeing a Shuckle. Gengar in. Shadow Ball. Earthquake blanking. Shadow Ball again. Facade blanking. And he lets the Gliscor die. Does he just not have an answer to Gengar? Is Gengar like that big of a fucking issue for Punny? Is he going to get swept by Gengar? No, he's got a Clef with Flamethrower. You silly Billy. Man, Hippo can't touch Gengar either. Lati seems like an issue though. Alright, tries to debond, but Punny doesn't fall for it. Gonna need para or... I gotta say para crit. Crit wouldn't have even done it. Just a para. Close. This one definitely closer than the other two. But it is the expected outcome for most players. It is Punny, the Oros, not a main, but like legit Oros player, versus Troller, the RBY go-to, merely dabbles in it. Closer than a lot of people thought that it would be. Two of the games were kind of one-sided. The third game was, in fact, the best game. But it is Punny taking the W. It's going to put PPT up 1-0 against Helix. And that means that Fear in GSC against Pogis, which most people think Fear is going to win, and Jirachi against Tricking in DPP which is more of a split thing. That's going to have to go the way of Rachi and Fear, respectively, should Troller want to continue on in this tournament. Punny, obviously, if either of his guys, Tricking or Poe, just take it down, they're through to the next round. And with that, I think that is all the Fairy Gen highlights. Yep, I just checked up top. The next game that I have to narrate is an actual game that is not a Fairy Gen. So I hope you guys enjoyed it all, and I've got more stuff coming, individual sets of non-Fairy Gens that I hope you guys will enjoy. A lot of time and effort goes into this tour. Putting several hours into my day off, into narrating these games and getting them posted, rather than spending that time with my wife. I hope you guys can appreciate that. And if you do, at least give me a damn thumbs up on the video. If you want to be more involved, join the Discord server, link in the description. We're also taking donations. I keep nothing. It all goes to the players. So let me know if you're interested in that as well. Appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you in the next video.